right, welcome everybody to the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society live talk show. This is our, we have live talk show every first and third Monday now. So this is our talk show for the end of this month. And we are going to talk about some of the events and our investigations and what we've been up to and update you guys. So this is live talk show episode number 39. And you guys can visit our website at crawfordcountyghosthunters.org. Check it out. If you haven't been on there, you guys can definitely check it out. We try to post and update that as often as possible. We're pretty busy, so may have some older stuff on there. But you can email us at illinoishauntings@gmail.com if you have any type of activity that you may be experiencing. If you guys think you're experiencing some type of paranormal activity in your home, business, or any other place, definitely email us at illinoishauntings@gmail.com or send us a message on our Facebook page. We'll try to respond to you as quick as possible. We've also got a phone number on our Facebook page that you can call and leave a message, or we might answer depending on if we have it turned on. But definitely contact us in some way or another. If you guys are experiencing any type of activity out there, we do investigations free of charge. We do this for the research. So if you got anything going on, definitely get a hold of us. You can visit our Facebook page, which you're probably watching from now, at facebook.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. We also dual stream to YouTube. So if you like watching on the YouTube platform, go to YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd appreciate that. YouTube/Crawford County Ghost Hunters, or at Crawford County Ghost Hunters on YouTube. It's been a while since we've done a show, guys. So kind of rusty here, but you can, the music tonight, got to mention that because I use them for our title music and our intro music, is by the Midnight Syndicate, all rights reserved. It's used with permission with those guys. They let us use that. You can check out their website at midnightsyndicate.com. They've got some cool Halloween style music and Gothic style music if you're into that. Pretty neat stuff. So they're also on Spotify. If you check out Midnight Syndicate on Spotify, YouTube, you'll find those guys. But it's been a while, guys. We like to welcome everybody back to our show and our live feeds. So looks like Deb's watching from Nebraska tonight. That's cool. Looking at your comments now, I can see what everybody's saying. It's like we got Mikey on here too. Mikey said, cool intro. Thanks, Mikey. I'm trying to improve that a little and make it better. I just kind of threw that together, see how it'd work here a while back. But yeah, we're going to try to make that intro even better for the show in the future here. Also, I probably can't see the thumbs up on the live, but if you guys want to let me know in the comment section right now, how is our volume, our audio, our audio, is it clear? Is the picture, halfway clear? Of course, I'm using a web camera again tonight, which doesn't seem to be as clear as my phone when I go live from it for some reason. But give us comments regarding, the quality of our show tonight, as far as audio and video quality. And if there's any type of lag during the course of the night, let me know. I am using Ben's watching from Jasper County. He's probably in his lawn chair out there. I don't know where he's at, but I got a funny story on Ben I'm going to tell you here in a minute, but okay, they're saying everything looks and sounds good so far, so good audio, cool. All right, at least you can hear me. I don't care if you can see me, as long as you can hear me. It's more of like a podcast anyway, unless you want to look at a talking head here, but sometimes we show pictures and stuff, but not very often. But yeah, thank you guys all for watching. Looks like Bowen's tuned in from Porterville. He's on the couch, not his lawn chair, I guess Ben is. I got a funny story I'm going to tell Ben real quick, though, while I'm thinking about it. So me and Ben, we decided to go on this investigation the other night over in Jasper County at Brockville Cemetery, and I'm laughing already talking about this. But so Ben gets there before I do, and it's darker than heck out, guys. I mean, it was dark. I had all kinds of strange events. You say hater. He's probably doesn't want me to tell this story, but I got to. So we decided we're going to go to Brockville Cemetery, do some investigations over in Jasper County. We didn't go live. We don't go live on a lot of our stuff here recently. It's just been hot and buggy and We just haven't been going live. I'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, Ben goes over there, and he gets there before I do. I went to the gas station to get gas, and by some strange turn of events, the power went out while I was trying to get gas there in Oblong and delayed me, so I didn't get over there as quick as what Ben did. Ben gets there by himself. It's dark. He pulls up to Brockville Cemetery, and a bat, yeah, Bowen knows what I'm talking about over there. A bat attacks Ben, comes in through his window, starts flapping around on the dash of his truck, and I guess he either fell out or bailed out. I don't know. He removed himself from the vehicle, and his exact text message to me was that he just soiled himself. So, oh man, I'm still laughing about that one. But could you imagine being sitting in the dark? The guy's pulling up to a dark cemetery, back this old gravel road, trees on both sides. You're going back. It's creepy as heck back there. Nobody else back there. And I guess he was still moving, Ben's saying on the comments. I guess his vehicle was still moving. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he can tell you more on the comments, but maybe he jumped out what was moving. I don't know. But he got the bat out of there. But could you imagine this big black thing flying in through your window in the middle of the night when you can't see and flapping around on your dash inside your vehicle right as you pull up to a extremely spooky cemetery? I mean, that had to be something, because I wish we'd been going live on that. That would have went viral. But it's funny things like that happen when we're not going live that we always miss. But I had to tell that story on Ben. Maybe he can fill you guys in more there in the in the comment section. He's there talking about it. But yeah, just some funny stuff that happened to Ben. Yeah, welcome back, guys. We've still been investigating. Just wanted to update everybody on that too. We've been doing all of our investigations. Been doing a lot of private investigations. We just haven't been going live, and we did take a little break from the live feeds and from the going almost every weekend and every night. But we're getting back into it. We're going to announce some stuff tonight too. We're going to be doing. So just looking at all your things. Oh, watching from Australia. That's cool. Pretty neat. But yeah, we got people watching from all over tonight, from Florida. Thanks for watching, Heather. A lot of people. So yeah, guys. But yeah, we've been doing a lot of investigations still. We just haven't been going live. So to answer your questions, no, we haven't quit. I kind of put out that statement. We'll never quit investigating paranormal occurrences and phenomena. I mean, we're probably, or at least I'm going to go to my grave holding my paranormal equipment in my hand probably, and then you guys can hunt me. But Mikey says it was Ozzy Osbourne. It could have been. That's it. That's a very good possibility, Mikey. Never thought of that. That could have been Ozzy out there in the cemetery. They were chasing Ben. But yeah, we've been doing a lot of investigations. We investigated some locations up in the Charleston area. We investigated Airtight Bridge again since we talked to you guys. We investigated St. Omar Cemetery. Several locations in Indiana we investigated. We investigated Mirren Bluff again. Paul Lindsay Island, we done that, a return investigation to it. One of the investigations we done in Indiana recently, and I'm going to leave the cemetery unnamed at this point, I'll tell you kind of the area where it was at though. It was over by Graysville, Indiana. We got some really, really weird stuff. Hey, Joe's on tonight. Good to see you, Joe. Yeah, me and Joe may have some future plans for you guys too. Joe Turry, he was the producer of the Betsy Reed documentary. The Hanging of Betsy Reed documentary we done here a while back. So good to see Joe on here tonight, and he's possibly doing some spooky stuff for Halloween, guys. So definitely check out Joe's pages. Hey, Joe, why don't you plug yourself and throw your website in the comments there, Facebook page and website there in the comments, so people can check that out if they haven't and like your page. So yeah, definitely check out Joe, guys. He's got some cool videos that he makes. So, but maybe some cool stuff coming up in the future I'll tell you about with him. But yeah, we were investigating the cemetery over in Indiana, and we were trying some ITC communication with some different stuff we had, different ghost boxes and different equipment. And we kept I got shot at this particular cemetery. Oh, Kelly's watching tonight too. Hey, Kelly, thanks for tuning in. But yeah, we were doing some ITC sessions and recording, and we just kept getting, I got shot. I got shot, repeatedly at this cemetery. And then it started to get more violent toward us. Like it actually was cussing at us through some of our ITC devices, like our ghost boxes, or some of the stuff we were using. There we go. Joe's throwing it down there now. YouTube is Red Room Creative Media. Please subscribe. Halloween videos coming for free. Awesome, Joe. Thank you. So yeah, guys, go to YouTube, subscribe to Joe's channel there. He'd appreciate that. And we like helping him out, and he helps us out. So gonna be some cool stuff there, I'm sure. But yeah, we got some extremely good, intelligent communication, like I said, at this cemetery, and we're definitely going to go back there. We may announce the name of it or a return investigation if we go live from there. But apparently somebody got shot there, and that's what we're doing some research into to see if we can verify the stuff that was given to us over the ghost box and the communication devices we were using that night. No problem, Joe. But yeah, so we've been going all over the place. We just haven't been going live. Some stuff going on. We investigated the Highland Lawn Cemetery. Well, it brought that to my attention recently. Our last paranormal investigation there at Highland Lawn Cemetery in Terre Haute, Indiana, is the tragic event that took place. It was on. I saw it on Channel 10 News, on Channel 2 News. They were covering it. Some other people immediately called me, told me, hey, did you know this happened here? We don't like to capitalize on or like kind of rush in on recent events just because we like to have respect, to the family. And we do have the utmost respect for the families involved in any type of tragic event, especially, newer events where it's fresh and people haven't even had time to mourn over it, we go to some of these locations, though, for research purposes only and try to communicate, to see if when a tragic event takes place, we've been studying this for years. When a tragic event, such as a murder, a suicide, an unexplained death, even an accidental death takes place where somebody's taken before their time or, just sudden, we like to go to some of those locations and do research into the environmental, factors that, is there anything left there of this individual? Whether you call it a soul, a life force, whatever you wish to call it, the spirit, whatever you want to call whatever leaves our body after we die. Many religions, many things, different people call it many different things. And in the end, it's, the energy that leaves us. Einstein even said himself, energy can't be destroyed. And that's why we're studying all this. What happens to us, when we die? What happens? It's life after death study. That's what we've been involved in for years. We're not the kind of group that goes out there just for the thrills of it and, tries to collect, all this evidence and say, oh, we collected a whole file cabinet full of evidence at each place we went. That's not the way we work. A lot of times we don't collect anything because we don't find anything. We try to rule out all natural explanations before we come to a determination of what we found is paranormal. And a lot of times it's natural. We don't find a lot of paranormal stuff, unfortunately. But going back to this incident at Highland Lawn Cemetery, an individual was found floating in the pond, the small pond there at Highland Lawn Cemetery in Terre Haute, Indiana. That happened, I believe, last Tuesday now. So we went there, to see if there, we could communicate with that individual. There has been more press releases on who it was. And, we dug in, we investigate the heck out of everything we do. We dug into this individual and they haven't even released, I don't think, the exact cause of what happened yet. I have my own personal opinions on it. We know his name, who he was, how old he was, all kinds of stuff about this guy just from our research we done. We're not going to release any of that. It's not our business to do that. But what we were there to do is to see if there was any type of activity that, was associated with that, whether it be positive, negative, whether we could communicate with the individual himself and see if he would give us his name. And we do that at locations because we try recent locations and then we try older locations because we want to see if the recent locations are more active. And a lot of times, we found it's just a weird mixture. And that's why we can't really explain all this, because sometimes real recent locations are extremely active and for like, a couple months, and then they just go flat, nothing. Maybe they got a message across to somebody they wanted to get across, and they crossed over or passed on, and they're no longer hanging out in the particular area where they passed away. We found that like new locations can sometimes be really active. People always assume that, oh, it's the oldest part of the cemetery because it's creepy looking, or it's the old abandoned buildings that are the most haunted. Well, it's not necessarily the case. I actually believe that a haunting can burn itself out over the years. And if you got an old building that's been rumored to be haunted for years, an old hospital, and you got team after team going in there trying to talk to these ghosts and spirits, especially the ones that charge money to come in and stuff, and you got teams from all over the United States coming in, trying to communicate, I think they burn themselves out. I think, why would these ghosts want to talk to people night in and night out if they've got their message across to at least one person, sometimes. But that's just my opinion. But, these places, like these new places, that's why we like to do that. It's no disrespect toward anyone, but we're doing this for research, just to see if they're more active versus an older place. Now, come to find out, in Highland Lawn Cemetery, that place was extremely active. I was surprised, especially with the communication that we received there on our St. Jean Ghost Box. I mean, if you guys watched our live feed regarding that last Saturday, we did a daytime investigation there. If you haven't, definitely go back and watch it after this show. But we got there. The cemetery, I believe, was established in like 1884. And then it has like a really cool arch, over the entryway, which is very, very unique. You don't see that hardly anywhere. I mean, it's like a castle when you enter the cemetery. It's like the gates into another dimension or something, is the way I felt when I entered it. And that was kind of weird too, because me and the guys that were with me, we were talking about that. It just felt different in there, especially right when you enter the gates, like a different energy about that place than what I've ever felt anywhere else. I definitely want to do a return investigation to Highland Lawn Cemetery. It's a tongue twister for me, guys, because we've been saying Pine Lawn Manor for so many years, and like Highland Lawns kind of sounds like Pine Lawn, and I get it all. I may be calling it Pine Lawn something, who knows? But yeah, it's Highland Lawn Cemetery in Terre Haute, Indiana. But it's a really cool place. And the gateway was built, I believe, 10 years after the cemetery was established. It was built in 1894. And the chapel on site was built in 1893. And it sits on the highest point in the cemetery, which kind of overlooks the cemetery. And there's just something weird about this place. And that's what drew me to it too. Because there was a recent death. There was a body exhumed there recently, that involved a murder that took place in the 60s that they're still trying to solve. There is, the story of Stiffy Green, the story of Martin Sheets, who, if you watched our live, you guys seen all that and heard, the stories behind all that. Just the whole place is full of cool urban legends and ghost stories and people seeing stuff in there. And we're going to continue. We're probably going to do a return investigation there, because I want to hit areas in the cemetery that aren't so popular. There's areas that drew me in that I want to go do like some ITC sessions at EVP sessions, see if we can communicate with anything. But probably the coolest communication I thought we got in Highland Lawn Cemetery there in Terre Haute was at the Herbert site. The guy that died in the fire. It was on December 19th, 1898, a well-known store burnt there, on 5th and Wabash in Terre Haute. And we got some incredible communication there at the Herbert grave there, Claude Herbert's grave, the mausoleum. I could not remember the guy's name. Looking at your comments. So that cemetery you're at Saturday was awesome. Yeah, I agree, Deb. That was a cool place. But yeah, I couldn't even remember the firefighter's name, who also passed away several days later after that fire took place there in, back in 1898. And I'll be danged if the last name of that firefighter did not come across our ghost box. I mean, it came across loud and clear. I mean, that was one of the most amazing moments of that investigation, I think. It was Osterloo, and Oesterloo is how it's kind of pronounced. You can hear that come across our ghost box, and there is no way we could have been picking up any type of radio communication in the area with that name, that would just randomly come across while we were at that grave, and that would be associated with that event. That's just that would be just unbelievable coincidence. If some radio say, if you guys don't know how those ghost boxes work, you got to be extremely careful. And you got to look for intelligent communication, like I've talked about before. It's an AM, FM digital radio. It's been modified to skip through the frequencies, and the theory and thought behind it is ghosts and spirits can kind of manipulate the sound files, use the background noise, kind of ride in through the wave frequencies. A lot of theories on how they actually communicate through a ghost box, but you're looking for intelligent communication coming through basically the static, or even sometimes I've heard them use this is as weird as it sounds. Any ITC researcher can tell you, that this happens a lot. They'll use words from different people, and put them together to form a sentence sometimes, which is really weird. You hear, "Oh my gosh, help me," and it may be 5 different people's voices because it's coming across the radio, but they'll take those and they'll put those words together and form a sentence. And that didn't happen at this cemetery, but I've had that happen on ghost box sessions before. But this came through in one voice, said, very clear the firefighter's last name, and just kind of gave me goosebumps because I had forgot his name. I was going to talk about him, which is the weird thing. I was going to say, there was 4 people that died in the fire that day in 1898. It was Claude Herbert himself lost his life. A female clerk, she jumped from one of the stories, I think second story or third, and fell and hit her head and passed away. And then the firefighter, who he spoke about, or who we got communication from, or somebody told us his name, the Oesterloo guy, and another firefighter, which is a volunteer firefighter, I was told. So 4 people lost their lives, in that fire on 5th and Wabash in 1898 at Terre Haute. And we have plans here in the near future of going to the actual location where that happened and doing an investigation. So that'll be pretty cool. We're going to go to the location there in 5th and Wabash and find the exact spot, where, the store set, and try to do some EVP and ITC sessions right there and see if we can get any communication further regarding that event. Lloyd Almeyer says, amazing what can happen during the day. Yeah, and, that just goes to prove, some of these locations are just as active in the daylight as they are the night, and sometimes more active. The only reason we go at night a lot of times is due to our infrared and IR equipment with our video cameras, because the nighttime, seems to, if there is some illuminated object or self-illuminated energy that can be seen, the darkness can definitely highlight that. And that's why we like to go in the dark, and it's a lot quieter. There's not as many people out when we're doing EVP sessions. That's a big plus about darkness too, why we always go at night. If we go to some of these cemeteries, obviously in the daytime, you heard all those cars in the background. If we'd been there at night, there'd been less cars, no people yelling. So, nighttime definitely helps with EVP sessions due to the fact that it's just more quiet. And something cool too, I don't know if I talked about it on the investigation, the live video I done or not, but in the front of that gate, the stone archway with the bell tower there, I've been told it's 60 foot tall and it's made out of Bedford stone. But there's a clock, and I don't know if I mentioned it on the live feed or not. Maybe I did, but there's a clock that was actually never working. The clock never worked, but it's up there on the bell tower, and it's set to 3 minutes before 4. Which is extremely weird. Like I said, the Chinese, the Japanese, a lot of certain religions, different cultures believe that 4 represents death. And I'm wondering, there's a lot of symbolism in that cemetery, a lot of symbolism with the With the gateway itself, there's a lot of symbolism within the chapels. There's lots and tons of secret symbolism within the mausoleums out there of people that have passed away, from Freemasons to you name it. There's just some crazy stuff out there. That's why I want to go back. I mean, I can just sit out there all day and just look at this stuff. It's so cool. But 3 minutes till 4, Chinese, Japanese, they believe 4 represents death. So, was the person who made that clock saying you're 3 minutes until death, saying life is short? I don't know. Maybe they're saying, your life happens in the blink of an eye and then you're dead. Maybe that's what they're trying to tell you. There's a lot of symbolism and everything out there, but whether, death represents 4 in that clock, I don't know. I'm only speculating, but 4 can also be a good number, though. I mean, 4 can be a biblical number. They talk about the 4 corners of the earth in the Bible, and 4 is mentioned a lot, in biblical texts. But, who knows what they meant by 3 minutes till 4? Has to mean something. And, it's cool if we could just pick the brain of the individual that, designed that and why he done that. I mean, obviously this dude was smart, but because of the symbolism and stuff that was contained within all of it. But it just, places like that draw me in. But we're going to try next time to see if we can possibly get the chapel open, see if we can get even a little tour of the chapel and the office, the cemetery office. It was built, I believe, in 1909 and was used as a trolley stop for the interurban trolley system in Terre Haute at the time. So we're going to see if we can get all that open on the next one, maybe. And we're going to go see if we can visit the real Stiffy Green in the Vigo County Historical Society. We may go live for that too, guys. So they've got Stiffy there at the Vigo County Historical Society in the basement. I've seen a lot of pictures of it. They just kind of redone the John Highland Memorial, put him inside there. And he's got green glass eyes. It's pretty freaky looking. It's like a stone statue with green glass eyes. And I was told that back in the day, somebody actually shot the mausoleum and the door with a shotgun and damaged the mausoleum and the statue is why they removed it, and they vandalized it. They removed it to put it in the historical society. But I don't know about all that. I looked at the doors. I mean, unless they completely replaced the doors, I think it was in 1980, maybe 80 or 83 that happened. I may be wrong on my dates, the vandalism. But those doors look old. They look older than that. I mean, they look older than the 80s. So, I don't know. Maybe somebody shot the doors. Maybe they didn't, but that's the story, because I don't see any evidence of a shotgun blast inside the mausoleum unless they completely redone it. And I looked at the pictures of the statue of Stiffy Green, and those don't appear to be shotgun blast marks on the statue to me, but I'll have to see it in real life to further go into that. But that's why I want to examine Stiffy Green's statue when we go into the Historical Society Museum. I want to kind of look at that and see if I can, just dispel some of the myths, some of the legends of this dog, because a lot of people think he's real. A lot of people think it was a real dog that was stuffed, and he followed his owner up there, and people hear and see Stiffy Green, at the John Highland Memorial all the time. There's been books wrote about it. There's been videos made about it, all kinds of stuff. And just an urban legend, I think. We didn't get a whole lot right there, but we just kind of want to dispel some of the myths and legend behind it if we can. But 3 a.m. to 4 a.m., yeah, it could be. Talking about the symbolism of the tower there. Yeah, if anybody else comes up with what 3 minutes to 4 could be, that'd be awesome. Mikey says, I've heard 3 a.m. as the witching hour and 4 a.m. as the hour of the devil. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we've said all that too, and we've been told 3 a.m. is a witching hour for a long time. It's like, it's weird though, because it does seem like paranormal activity increases from 3 a.m. to about 4:30 in the morning. And our original Paimon investigations, 4:20 in the morning is when stuff started going crazy. I know that's a funny number, but it was like 4:20 in the morning exactly, is when we originally started experiencing stuff in there, and like getting knocks and bangs and just marbles, coins. It was just unbelievable. But there is something to that. The 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. hours, and even a little bit in past 4 a.m. It's just you got some different environmental things taking place, in those hours of the night too. A lot of spirits, it says, have passed between those times. Working a graveyard at the hospital is where they pass on. Yeah, yeah. 3 is when Jesus was crucified. Yeah, I've heard that too, Jennifer. She brought up the fact, 3 is when Jesus was crucified, and actually 3 a.m. is mocking the crucifixion of Christ, is what I've been told also. So it's actually an evil thing. But I've been told he was crucified at 3 in the afternoon, and 3 a.m. is the opposite. So it's actually the hour of the devil. And but yeah, I've researched that a little too, Jennifer. And there could be some facts and behind all that, but just some weird stuff. Laura says, will you be doing another public investigation at Pine Lawn? Well, Pine Lawn Manor. Okay. There's been some things going on in Pine Lawn Manor that I don't want to talk about yet. I am going to do a full, and I'll be able to next show. Let me see when that is. I think it's August the 2nd. We're going to do them the first and third Mondays now. Let me make sure that's the first Monday of August. I believe it is. Yeah, I believe August 2nd, Laura. We're going to give you guys a full update regarding Pine Lawn Manor because I actually just found out some stuff today, and I'll know tomorrow more. I wish, we should show us later in the week. I'd be able to tell you. But on our next talk show, August 2nd, I will give you guys a full update on Pine Lawn Manor. Maybe good, maybe bad. I'm not real sure yet. It's kind of hanging in between there right now. But Joe says Red Room needs to go to Crawford and film an investigation with CCIDHS. Yeah, definitely, Joe. That'd be awesome. That'd be cool. But yeah, Laura, we'll get that to you guys next on August 2nd, our next live talk show on here. We'll update you guys on Pine Lawn because, yeah, I don't want to comment right now, but there's been some bad things, been some good things, and we'll see if we continue to investigate is all I'm going to say. But going into that, I do have an update for you guys on the Methodist Village in Lawrenceville, Illinois. And we have continued to investigate the Methodist Village. We investigated a couple times since we went live or since we've done a talk show. And we are going to, I hope, start doing some, well, I guess I can go ahead and announce this. I talked to Rick, one of the owners, just earlier before this talk show, and he said it was okay. So I believe we are going to do public haunted tours at the Methodist Village in Lawrenceville. And we're probably going to start those early. So we're going to start our haunted tour season extremely early this year. Last year, because of Pine Lawn, it was the first time I think we ever started them like mid-September. But this year, we're going to start them in August, guys. So our haunted tour season is actually going to run through August, probably clear through into like the weekend of November the 1st or into that first weekend in November. So we're going to have a heck of a long haunted tour season this year. So we're going to start doing the Methodist Village tours probably the last couple weekends of August and then all, probably into September. And that's because, well, I don't want to release any information. I'm not really supposed to, but, the future of some of these buildings is always up in the air. Like if we get into a place, we never know if it's going to be occupied, the next month, some of these abandoned places we get into and get permission, somebody might move into them, somebody might buy them in the process. So, as of right now, the owners are, they want us to investigate it, but there may be some future events take place, at the Methodist Village where we can't investigate them, later on in the year. So we're going to try to get investigations in, that's all I'm going to say about that at the Methodist Village early, this year. So if you guys want in there, definitely do that. Like I say, August, September, we're going to be doing them. Probably, October is not guaranteed just because there may be a turn of events in October there. But so definitely get on that bandwagon if you guys want in there and let us know as soon as you see us advertise on the page about the Methodist Village. Tell your friends because, some of these places, this may be the first and only, haunted tours we can have at the location. Just like Pine Lawn Manor, we had those haunted tours last year at Pine Lawn Manor, and we got to show a lot of people, the crazy phenomena and paranormal activity that took place there. And like you guys and us, I can't even explain how lucky we are to experience what we experienced there, and how lucky any of you that took our tours at Pine Lawn Manor are if you experienced the coins, the marbles, or the golf ball on our December event. I mean, you guys are just, that's a once in a lifetime experience usually, especially for even a paranormal investigator. You don't have that stuff happen every investigation. Teleportation of objects is very rare, and poltergeist phenomena is very rare. Pine Lawn Manor had all that. It had poltergeist phenomena, it had teleportation of objects, it had just all kinds of random things, shadow people, glass breaking, residual sounds that you couldn't explain. So anybody that was there, feel lucky, because, we may or may not be able to get back into Pine Lawn Manor is all I'm going to say right now. And you guys that experienced that, man, I'm glad you were there. I'm glad we got to take you guys and show you that. Same way the Methodist Village, we're investigating it right now, but who knows next year, you may have a total change of events. So definitely get on the tour bandwagon, guys, and sign up when we post those Methodist Village tours in September and August, because who knows how long we'll be able to do that. Like, just like any building, it could be abandoned today and, occupied, the next year or something. So, but yeah, we'll announce that on our page, put a full, page out regarding the tours there at the Methodist Village and how to sign up and everything. So Karen Cat says the Methodist Village is active as Pine Lawn. Unfortunately, as of right now, absolutely not. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I'm not trying to stop people from going on the Methodist Village tours. I mean, I want you guys to come see this place because, I mean, I don't understand it, to tell you the truth. Like, I mean, it has the potential probably to be just as active as Pine Lawn, but we have not experienced it yet. I'll just put it that way. We've heard and seen things in Methodist Village that we couldn't explain. And I'm still, like I say, Pine Lawn maybe warped us a little, and kind of, because like now we're looking for crazy activity everywhere we go. And we may have good stuff at Methodist Village that we're just kind of like, oh, a door just slammed because we're not getting marbles thrown in our face. So it's like it kind of hurt us in a way, because we're waiting for something to marvel us now, and like we were not getting that. But I'm not saying Methodist Village isn't haunted. It could have. I mean, it's got some activity, definitely. There's been a lot of deaths in there in the old part, the Holden Center, and then the different areas in there we're hearing noises. I mean, we're hearing bangs. There was an event I think I told you guys about last time where I think it was Courtney, and I don't remember who was with her. There's somebody else, that maybe James Pinkston. They heard keys rattling, like somebody was coming in the door, and we thought the owner was coming back. And they heard somebody unlock the door, like they were going around unlocking doors. So they thought the owner was back. I was in another part of the building. They go over there, and this is the Methodist Village, guys. They go over there, and nobody was there. Called me on the radio. I went outside. There were no vehicles there. The owner was not there. He had not showed up. I called him to make sure, asked him next day too. I said, "Did you show up at this time?" He said, "Absolutely not." So somebody, we assume paranormal, was going through there unlocking what sounded like unlocking, the rooms with a set of keys. And that's at the Methodist Village. So that's something we have experienced there. James, again, one of my team members, seen what he thought looked like a guy crawling on his like knees or stomach into a room down a hallway, which is pretty creepy. So, we've had stuff happen. We're just not getting, hit in the head with stuff. So, but I think it'll be a cool thing. And the energy of having a group there, Pine Lawn actually exploded when we brought our haunted tours in there. We didn't get a lot of stuff until we started bringing more people in. Like when we brought the public in, I mean, it went nuts. It was like they were feeding off their energy. So that maybe happened at the Methodist Village too. I mean, it may spark that Methodist Village, having the energy in there of a lot of people again to become active. And that's exactly what happened at Pine Lawn. So, I definitely want you guys to to go on these tours, because like I say, sometimes these are unique places that we can't get you back in the next year. So, we maybe do different places every year and, not be able to offer them the next year. So, Laura says, I'd definitely be honored to go on an investigation with y'all whenever whenever stuff happens or not, like your team's approach to an investigation. Thanks, Laura. I appreciate that. Yeah. And I mean, they're shift shapers, they said. I was reading a different comment. But yeah, guys, I mean, Laura, get a hold of us. Yeah, I mean, anybody out there, if we take people too, on our investigations. I mean, obviously, if we've got a serious investigation, we're doing a residential investigation or private investigation. We won't take members of the public a lot of times and stuff like that. But yeah, anybody out there watching that wants to go with us on an investigation that isn't a real serious one where we've been called in, and by a business or something like that. Yeah, we'll take you along, especially on our outings, our weekend outings, or even like the investigation we did over here at the cemetery in Terre Haute. We'll take people along to stuff like that. If you guys just message us, let us know. And if you're really interested in doing that, but we just can't have a bunch of people is the thing. We have to take some of you here, some of you there. We just can't have 50 people going with us. This is the only problem, because you can't get results that way. But trying to read you guys' comments here. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, what I was going to cover tonight. The other locations in the Highland Lawn Cemetery that we did get activity at, going back to that, the Claude Herbert grave was probably the most active in there. The bed, we did confirm that all in our ghost box when we went to the bed. Now, this guy, like I said on our live feeds, this guy passed away while in bed with his mistress in Indianapolis, Indiana, close to New Year's Eve. And he basically had a heart attack while having sex, is the story. And the wife eventually found out what had happened. The mistress fled the scene, from after this guy had the heart attack. And the wife was told, hey, he died in bed of a heart attack, and he was, pretty much in bed with another woman when it happened, and she took off. So when she found out, she got mad, made this special tombstone for him that looks like a bed. It's got the headboard and the footboard, and her exact words were pretty much, he made his bed and he shall lie in it now. So on the baseboard, the footboard, it says Bob, which is short for, I think his name is Robert, but it says Bob on that side, the death date and everything. And he's pretty much in bed alone. It's got his name and nothing on the other side of the bed, which is, it's a pretty neat little stone, to tell you the truth. I mean, it's pretty unique. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. But on our Ghost Box ITC session, it wasn't, I bet we just barely turned that thing on and it was saying Bob. I mean, and it was Bob. It was coming across. It was Bob. I mean, it said it actually 2 or 3 times. I went back and reviewed our footage. So we definitely got that. We got the name from the store Santa Claus that saved all the people uptown. We got some interesting stuff too at the Hollywood Vampire's grave that said candles. And we didn't know what that meant. And when we ended up going back to, the Holocaust survivor, she, I guess, formed the Candles Museum. And I didn't know that. And we ended up picking up the word candles on our ghost box at a different area in the cemetery. And I wonder if it wasn't somewhat related. Maybe they knew we were going there after a while, or maybe she was following us through the cemetery and trying to communicate, and it was actually her. But we picked up candles, and I had no clue why at that point in the investigation. And later on, somebody mentioned it was actually one of the watchers on our live feed mentioned that, she had formed the Candles Museum in Terre Haute, I believe is what it was called. I haven't even looked it up yet, so I hope I'm not wrong on that. But yeah, I was just going by what a viewer told me. But Penny says the bed was probably the most unique stone I've ever seen. Yeah, it was very weird, definitely. Then we move on. We went up to the chapel area. Didn't get a whole lot up by the chapel. We went over to where the orphans were buried, also in a previously unmarked grave. and investigated it. Didn't get a whole lot there either. So like I say, probably the coolest thing was Claude Herbert and the bed area, and the like I say, the Hollywood vampire connection with the Holocaust survivor later on in the investigation, which is really unique. We couldn't really get make out any names to anything regarding the unsolved murder where they exhumed the body here recently, about 3 weeks ago, in the back part of the cemetery, that we could really make out. So no evidence really on that, unfortunately, because I really wanted to get a name, regarding that to maybe help, solve that mystery, but we didn't get anything regarding that. So, Karen asked if we picked up anything by the pond. Nothing really. I went back and reviewed the EVP sessions by the pond. We didn't get hardly anything. The pond sat so close to the main road, though, too. We had a lot of background noise. I think if we would have waited till maybe early morning or right at dark or something, maybe when there's not as much traffic. I don't know. I guess we kind of were right there at dark, maybe dark, but we're not supposed to be in there at dark. We'd have to get permission. But yeah, the less traffic on that roadway in the background, I think we would have had better results there by the pond, because it was just car after car going by. We could hear it on the recorder, so it's hard to hear the faint background sound that we need to hear sometimes to pick up EVP or electronic voice phenomena. And a lot of times these voices are embedded in the background sound, or they'll even use the background sound to come forth in the recordings, so it's you got to really listen. And when you're doing an EVP session, we always go back. That's why, we try to review them on scene, but we always go back also, or I do, and listen to them with a headset on or headphones, because you can miss a lot of stuff out there, just listening to it up to your ear instead of having your headphones on. But no, not a lot of evidence, unfortunately, Karen. But say we do plan on making a return to Highland Lawn Cemetery there in Terre Haute, Indiana. Oh yeah, Massey's talking about the piece of pie. I forgot about that. Thank you. Yeah, that was weird. While we were over at the pond, Courtney kind of just was drawn over to this one grave, and there was a fresh piece of pie over there. If you watch the investigation, and the funny thing about that pie story, the reason we were laughing about that's kind of an inside joke, because if you've ever been on one of our that's why Courtney was freaking out. If you've ever been on one of our haunted tours in Crawford County, we take you to a location called Harmony Cemetery up north of Oblong, and we had the same thing. We experienced the same thing, and it was just weird. At about, well, actually, no, it was. I take that back. It wasn't a pie. It was a chicken. It was a chicken pot pie we found that night, not an actual piece of pie. But that's why we were laughing. So we go into the cemetery there at Harmony Cemetery, and this is on our haunted tours of Crawford County. This was about 3:00 in the morning, and it was a freshly cooked chicken pot pie on this grave that we found that night. And that's why Courtney was freaking out, because she was like, oh my God, there's a pie over here. And, we found a chicken pot pie on a grave, early morning hours, and it was still steaming, the one we found, north of Oblong and Harmony Cemetery, which we thought was extremely weird. And the weird thing about the chicken pot pie grave in Harmony Cemetery is we didn't know this at the time, but the grave site that it was sitting on was the first grave that was put into Harmony Cemetery. And we wouldn't have ever known that if, we hadn't seen this freshly cooked, steaming chicken pot pie on this grave. We would have never found out that, that was the first grave put there. Of course, now I tell that story on my haunted tours when we do it. This is where we found that and how we found out that this was the first grave put in the cemetery. But that's why Courtney was freaking out, when she found a piece of pie over there. She goes, there's a piece of pie. And it was like, I knew what she was thinking. She was thinking of Harmony Cemetery. But yeah, it was the guy's birthday at the Highland Lawn Cemetery there in Terre Haute is why the pie was there, which is another kind of strange and ironic event. And how did she find the one place where it happened to be this guy's birthday and they'd put a piece of pie on it on the day we were there? That was his birthday on the day we were there, the 17th, which I thought was pretty weird, so just pretty crazy. And no, Justin, we did not eat the pie. Either one of them. We didn't eat the chicken pot pie or the piece of pie that they laid here this time. It might still be there, though, if you want a piece of it. But no, I wouldn't definitely not eat a piece of pie off a tombstone. That's bad luck. And I don't know. But yeah, I'm still, he caught me off guard with that comment. But I don't know. It was just strange that she was drawn to that grave, and that's what I was trying to tell you guys and talk to you guys about too. Yeah, the ants were enjoying it, Paula said. There was a couple of ants eating it. Sometimes you have to it's intuition almost. Like you have to go by your feelings. Like you're drawn to a certain area of the cemetery, you're drawn to a specific area of an old house. Listen to that feeling, because sometimes things are kind of calling for you, kind of subconsciously trying to get you to come over there. I do that a lot of times with my EVP sessions. If we're recording out in a cemetery, if we're recording at a location, sometimes I'll just randomly wander off, and just one particular place will be calling me, or drawing me to it, and I have to listen to that, because a lot of times when I do that and I go and I put my recorder down on that stone or beside it or whatever it may be, I'll pick up activity there where we were focusing our investigation somewhere completely different. So it's weird how, all of a sudden we could be investigating this one location and something draws us to another and we'll be over there. So that's exactly what happened there, at Highland Lawn. But the whole cemetery, there was some other locations that I wanted to hit, but I couldn't because we didn't have time. So that's why I want to do a part 2 sometime in the upcoming future of that cemetery, because there's a lot of cool areas in there. Justin said he was just kidding. No, he wasn't. Justin, you'd eat it. I know you. but no, I know Justin for a long time, guys. Glad to see you on here, Justin. Where you been at, man? But yeah, just stay tuned, guys, because we're going to be doing a lot of investigations. Oh, yeah. You guys keep reminding me of more things that happened I forgot to talk about. The snake. Shane Aldis said, yeah, the snake was something. He happened to be there when he came up. Yeah, talk about weird. I mean, there was a lot of weird stuff that happened that day. Since he's in Minnesota. Huh. Yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff that was happening in Highland Lawn Cemetery. I mean, the snake, that was the third stop. It was a Martin Sheets grave, which is a guy who, was scared to death of dying. He had he was having dreams of, being buried alive. He was scared of being buried alive, basically, because back in the day, that was a pretty well-founded fear. People got buried alive. They didn't have the medical technology. Maybe they didn't embalm them like they do today. And they would be in a coma or something and bury them, and people would wake up being buried alive. It was a true phenomena or true stuff that was happening, so it was a fear well-founded with this guy back in the day, I've been told, because it happened a lot, which is pretty scary, guys. But yeah, he had this special coffin made, to where he could get out from the inside. He had a mausoleum installed on top of the ground, and so he wasn't underground, so he could get out. He even told him to place food in his grave on the day of his death so he could have a snack trying to get out. He had internal latches where he could get out the mausoleum from the inside. I mean, this guy had it all covered. He had the telephone installed. The telephone line ran to the office, supposedly. I mean, this is supposedly a true story. Of course, we could find no telephone inside. Did they remove it? I don't know. I mean, we could kind of see through the glass on that one a little bit, that you couldn't really tell. But Marcus, like I say, one of my team members, he installs telephones and all that stuff for a living. He knows a lot more about it than I do. And he's also the one that explained to me that in Pine Lawn Manor, those telephones ringing, they had reports of telephones ringing, when it wasn't hooked up. He said that can actually happen, and that's debunkable. He said that a telephone can ring somehow, the lines can actually still do something that cause the telephone to ring. So we could debunk that as being, something that's not paranormal. So he knows a lot more about it than what I do, but he couldn't find any evidence of any telephone ever being ran into the mausoleum of the Martin Sheets area. Of course, we couldn't see on top. If we had a ladder, maybe you can see on top, but he also made the point, if they ran it from the top and came down through the top, I guess they could have sealed it up with something so it didn't leak, but he didn't think they would run it from the top, but they might have. That would be the only explanation, is if they ran the telephone line from the top over, because we could find no evidence of it going into the mausoleum from anywhere else. But anyway, the story was, he had this installed in there, and because he was scared of being buried alive, so he could get out and call somebody, and then a light would come on inside the main office up there, or he could call somebody, let him know he was alive. Well, he had this installed after he died to his specifications. Years later, his wife died. They went in, found her clutching a telephone in her hand extremely tight to the point to where they couldn't even get it out. They believe she died of a stroke or heart attack. They don't know. And they pried the telephone out of her hand, took her to the mausoleum to be buried with her, her husband, Martin. When they opened the doors, the undisturbed doors, since he had been buried, the phone that he had installed inside the mausoleum was off the hook. So, that's the whole legend and urban legend behind that mausoleum, that possibly he called her from the afterlife, scared her so bad that she had a heart attack and died and was still gripping the phone, and they found the phone off the hook, possibly, as one of the stories. Kind of weird, and this has been passed down, it supposedly happened, but, and there's always a thread of truth in all these urban legends. That's what we got to, we try to sort out some of the, the fake stuff from the real stuff. But I just thought those stories were kind of cool, though, so I put them in there. But do I believe that actually happened? I don't know. I doubt it. Like I say, it's probably an urban legend that's been passed down over the years, especially the thing about, Stiffy Green, too, being a real dog. I personally don't think he was a real dog. I think it was probably a statue that was removed from the porch of the John Highland house, which was another story that was told, and put into the mausoleum of John Highland. Not a real dog that was stuffed. So I think, again, people hearing and seeing a dog probably been their imagination. Back in the day, they probably looked at that mausoleum and seen that stone statue in there, and the eyes look like there's some type of green glass, which probably would reflect and scare the heck out of people, especially college kids or somebody drunk, going trying to do this for a cheap thrill or something, looking through the mausoleums, and they see a couple, green glass eyes on a dog staring back at you with their flashlight. They probably did freak out. That's probably how the legend got started. But again, urban legends, they're cool, cool stories and stuff, but sometimes they just, don't add up. But yeah, that snake, really, really unique on the Martin grave when we walked up there. I mean, he was just pretty much looking at us. I tried to film it. We tried to take a lot of pictures of it, and pretty neat. I mean, it couldn't have got creepier. A snake just curls up, just slithers up onto the mausoleum as we walk up to it. I mean, what is the chance of that? And just like stares at us. Another weird thing, we kept seeing owls in the cemetery. The day we did the investigation and the previous, kind of day we were there just looking at stuff, we saw owls everywhere. I didn't show it, and I don't think I probably even could have got it on the camera, but on the top of the towers of the gate coming into the cemetery, if you look real close, there are owls up there. Like, I don't know if they're made of stone or if they're glass. Well, I'm not sure what they're made out of, but there's a couple black owls, and you have to really look. Again, more symbolism in the gate of that cemetery. There's a lot of symbolism there. Yeah, and some stuff I may have even overlooked and didn't see, but really strange. There's kind of owls perched up there looking over the cemetery, and a lot of real owls we encountered in the cemetery. I saw them flying from tree to tree. I saw them land on a couple tombstones. Just a creepy, weird place. I mean, I just can't get over the energy of that place. And like, I've been there before. Like, I'd heard the whole story of Stiffy Green, and we'd researched that years ago and stuff. And like, I didn't really have a need to go there because I knew it was an urban legend probably. And, but the recent event with the pond, is what finally said, hey, I'm going to go check this place out. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I went there, and checked it out again, because I had a whole different feel this time. And we'll probably go back, definitely. We got a couple other cemeteries here in the near future we're going to investigate. Yeah, like Laura said, truly a city of the dead. And that's really what it felt like. I mean, I can't even, you guys need to go there. Like I said, we were there in the daylight. You can feel this. I can't even imagine what that place is going to take on in the night, which it's illegal to be in there at night. And I almost called to try to get permission to go in there, but because of the recent events, I didn't want to push it. So I may try to get a nighttime permission next time we go, but I didn't want to push it with law enforcement in the city and stuff right now with the recent events that took place in there. So we didn't do a nighttime investigation, but we may, if I can get that accomplished, do that next time. But yeah, like she's saying, it was a city of the dead. And like, go there, guys, and check this place out, because just walk around. It's beautiful for one thing, and it's like a reflection of, just it's a weird feeling in there, makes you think about things because there's all this symbolism and symbolism of death and life and the stuff that these people went through, and it's a very unique place. Laura, maybe she's been there, I don't know, but yeah, we've got a few other places that I want to announce that we're going to be going here, and I got to look at my calendar here. Julia, we were referring to she's want to know where did we go. We were referring to the Highland Lawn Cemetery in Terre Haute, Indiana. We did an investigation out this past Saturday. So yeah, Laura's apparently been there. Cool. Let me look at my calendar real quick, guys. So August 6th, 7th, and 8th, we'll probably have something between then. But this is one of our main paranormal road trips we've got scheduled, the nearest one here in the near future, where we're actually going and doing a bunch. We're going to be in New Harmony, Indiana, investigating New Harmony, and that's going to be really cool. There's a lot of cool places. One of the locations we're going to be visiting there is the Maple Hill Cemetery, and it's kind of a utopian culture. Like, it was supposed to be this utopia area. And we're going to do more research into that, before investigation, and give you guys, the, I guess, all the information we find on that. We're gonna try to find all kinds. There's like so many places there in New Harmony, Indiana. We're going to investigate. There's the Labyrinth, the Maple Hill Cemetery. There's a couple buildings or houses I'm going to try to get in. Don't know if we'll get it accomplished, but we're definitely going to hit several areas in New Harmony, Indiana on the 6th, 7th, and 8th of August. So definitely check our page. Watch out for that. We're going to be going live from there. And Jennifer says she loves New Harmony. Cool. So yeah, it's going to be neat. The place is weird too. It's got a weird vibe to it. New Harmony does. And we'll talk about all that, when we go live and get into the research of that location. But we've also got several locations. We've got 2 locations in Robinson, Illinois coming up. We're going to be going live from. One of them is a house, and another one is kind of a building that is still being used for some things. So we've got a lot coming up. We're going to be going to some different locations. We may also be going to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and investigating a few areas like around the Pigeon Forge area here within the next couple of months. So definitely check our page for that as well. Anything on the Shelton House gang yet? Nikki's wanting to know. No, we have not obtained permission to do a full-scale investigation, with all the equipment at the Shelton gang house yet. But we are still working on that, Nikki. So it may be something we do. Another thing, too, because of COVID, and I got to get back with them, we had an investigation scheduled over in St. Louis, Missouri at the Limp Mansion. So I've got to talk to them again and see if we can reschedule that now that, everything is getting back to normal somewhat. So I don't even like saying the word COVID, but yeah, in 2020, we were supposed to investigate the Limp Mansion and we didn't get to because of COVID. So we're going to be maybe going back there. I'm going to try to get that going so we can investigate it. Nikki said it'll be a huge turnout probably on the Shelton gang. Oh, I know. Yeah, if we get in that Shelton gang house, that'll be awesome. I mean, we're still working on it. And like I say, it took us forever to get in the Methodist Village. I tried to get in the Methodist Village for oh my gosh, probably about 8 years before we finally got in it here recently. Just different turns of events and things caused us not to be able to get in there. So Shelton House, we'll get there. We just got to find the right, maybe it'll change owners or we'll, talk to them and all that. We'll get in there eventually, hopefully, before they tear it down. What about Pine Lawn? You must have missed the beginning of this. I'm going to fully update you guys on Pine Lawn Manor on our next show, which will be August the 2nd. Again, guys, we're doing these talk shows just 2 times a month now. We're doing them the first and third Mondays of the month. Just because like our busy schedule and we're out investigating a lot and doing stuff, and like it's hard to get back and do the show and everything, and do the stuff we're doing. So we're gonna just do them 2 times a month now, so we can update you guys. That'll be better anyway, I think, because then we'll have a lot of investigations to talk about during that, or different stuff to tell you guys about that we've researched. So it won't be every Monday night now. Bob said, just got on here. Did you make out a full name of the murderer at the grave of the murder victim from the voice box? No, Bob, we didn't. We, unfortunately, we got to, I may review that segment again, but I couldn't hear anything, especially a full name regarding that, or at least enough to tell anybody about it. I want to go back. That's one of the reasons I want to go back to that location too. I mean, we got what may have been a whisper, but I can't make out enough of it to say that it's anything confirmed. So we'll return to that location and maybe see if we can get a better name to let people know. But yeah, I know. Yeah, guys. That's about all I have for tonight. I wanted to update you on the what we're doing, where we're going. Like I say, August 6th, 7th, and 8th, definitely put that on your calendars. We're going to be at New Harmony, Indiana for an investigation at Maple Hill Cemetery and some other places there. So, but looking at my calendar, I'm sure we've got more in between then. I just don't know when exactly we're going to schedule them. We're going to be going live probably a lot here now. And again, haunted tours are starting in August, guys. We're starting them early. We're going to be doing the Methodist Village haunted tours starting probably last part of the month in August, all through September. Get on board with that. Maybe the only time you can get in there, just like that may have been the only time you got in Pine Lawn. So thank you guys for watching. And probably get off here for a while. Yeah, it was a man's voice there, Bob. He's talking about that. But yeah, thank you guys. And again, we appreciate you guys watching our live feed. We were kind of dormant there for a while. So thanks, guys, for, everybody coming back. We appreciate that. Don't give up on us when we go silent. We're probably still doing stuff. We're just not doing live feeds. We appreciate everybody, joining back in and had a good viewing on our last investigation. So we appreciate that. And all you guys' comments too. You guys help us out so much on investigations. Like you guys help us with information sometimes. You'll tell us names, and it helps going live because you guys are our eyes and ears, and some of you are out there researching stuff as we're investigating and throw in stuff we may not know. I mean, we appreciate that. We appreciate feedback and information. And if you guys see or hear anything weird, you tell us on our live feeds. Yeah, and that's what's so cool about live. It's like we're all investigating together. I mean, that's really neat. So and we thank you guys. We thank you for being there with us. So we'll see you guys on the next one, and stay tuned and check out our page for our upcoming live feeds and investigations. Have a good night out there, everybody.